everybody. Welcome back to the Power 15 interview series for the Home Builder Growth Summit. Meredith here. And for this interview, I am joined by Miles Kohan of the Milestone Builder Group out of Edmonton, Canada. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We work together on doing some digital marketing for a couple. You've got two builder brands in the Milestone Building Group, right? You've got Park Royal Homes.
Yeah, Park Royal and Marks and Homes, Master Builder, and they both are under the Milestone Builder Group umbrella.
Yeah, so we've been working together a couple of months now on some digital marketing, pumping up that website traffic, getting some more leads into your online sales counselor, and I've enjoyed getting to know you and your team. You all operate at a very high level, which is one of the reasons I appreciated you accepting the invitation to do this interview. And what's kind of exciting for you guys is this big win that you've had over the past, a few months that you are a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah, we seem to be on a bit of a roll when it comes to the HBA Housing Awards there. So yeah, we've been lucky. We won both the local Builder of the Year, large volume, the provincial multifamily and large volume Builder of the Year, and then the national Builder of the Year. So
yeah,
it's quite the hat trick,
right? Honestly, in all the years I've worked in the industry, that may be a first. It is really unusual to have a complete sweep. So that speaks to you, your culture, your team, everything you're doing. So that's really cool. And it's not just that we do these things for a pat on the back or to feel good about ourselves. It has really been an awesome marketing opportunity, something that we've capitalized on in the digital ads for sure. I know you're currently working on a video to tell the story. It's gold, right?
Well, absolutely. In a time when we need to be able to have some props. So we're very grateful to be getting that recognition right now.
Yeah. And it's not just about bragging on ourselves. The way that I look at it is these types of recognition, they provide a level of certainty in a very uncertain time. And so when you have someone that maybe has never heard of your group or your company and they're Google searching or they come across a Facebook ad and it has kind of that stamp of endorsement, that seal of approval that an honor like this brings, it really gives a bit of certainty that this is worth me making a phone call.
Yeah. And both to the consumer and then also to our trade partners that we work with. We know that, we're able to select from some of the best trades that we have available in our market.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. So when I was researching the number 15, because I sort of randomly named this interview the Power 15, it just kind of sounded cool, I'll admit. Just said, okay, we're going to do this. I researched the number 15 and came across the idea that the free throw line in basketball is exactly 15 feet from the hoop, which I didn't know. And I also didn't know that the average professional basketball player is at a 50-60% average on free throws, which is not great. Maybe you think about it, no one's guarding you. There's no giant person rushing at you. You take your time, you can set your shot up. So that made me wonder, and I wanted to ask you from an owner perspective, president, CEO, what is the home building equivalent of the free throw? Something we don't do consistently, but we should be just nailing. And I'm sure not at Milestone Builder Group. I'm sure you guys do it perfectly every time.
Yeah, we wish. It's interesting, before I owned my own company, I was a vice president at a production firm for 10 years. And once a month, like clockwork, I had to meet with the shareholders and be prepared for a presentation. And what I used to do in preparation for that meeting was to have a dashboard for myself that was basically my own rudder system. What was going on in the economy, what was going on in the marketplace, what was going on with the other builders. And I used to sort of I simplified it down to, an up arrow, meaning this is the upward force on housing right now. This is a downward force, or a lateral arrow saying no change since last time. And my take on it is that I knew that the shareholders always wanted to know that the guy running the show was paying attention to, is now a good time to be putting all that money at risk? Are you making the right decisions? How are you on top of the issues? A, B, are you reacting do you have a game plan to react to some of these items? And so like clockwork, I'd always have this dashboard prepared for the meeting. Whether or not I was asked on it or not, it always just mentally got me in the game, so that I was feeling grounded in the decisions that we make. And a lot of us kind of, I think all the time, know if this is happening, this is what I should be doing. The key is, do you really have your finger on the pulse at a macro level? And so my risk dashboard was really, it was 10 items that I used to monitor every single month. And when I went out on my own, I missed that. And I realized I need that for me. So I actually still create the report as though I was going to present it to shareholders. And I just hit save, and, just the act of doing it. And I'm, monitoring, what's the net migration into our province? What is interest rates? Are they being an upward force or a downward force? Is the MLS market in an oversupply situation? Should I throttle back the number of spec homes that I've got, or should I double down and put a bunch of spec homes in the market, et cetera? So I continue to do that. And that's really that risk dashboard is the one go-to that I've always done for my, call it, sense of practice and sanity, I think, really just to stay grounded, I think, as to where we're at. I have you on mute, I think. I can't hear.
There we go. Sorry. There's a couple of nuances to what you're saying that I'm loving. Number one, you keep it pretty simple. Like it's not a 25-page report that you're drowning in data. Sounds like it's pretty much like kind of a dashboard, 1-2 pages.
It's actually that.
See, I love
and it's
that.
Got my little arrows. I love to reduce it down to an infographic because I'm a visual guy.
Yeah.
And so if I can't see the stat, 2% means nothing to me. I need to kind of just get a sense of, is this good or bad? Is it an upward trend or a bad, or is it hurting me, kind of thing? So
this is something that I try to train our home builder marketers, because they a lot of times are drowning in data, and they take all of this data to their president and CEO, who's like, well, give me the big picture, give me the main piece, because you're tracking so many other types of data. And so, if you're a marketing professional listening, one of the things I learned early on is it's not even just the data that your president wants from you. It is the insights into that data. That's the up or down arrow you're referring to. That's the insight. Like, what does this even mean? What's the context of the data?
100%.
Yeah, keeping it simple to a one-pager. Do not send them 25 pages of Google Analytics reports. Nobody has time for that except you, because that's your job as the marketer.
Right. I guess if you had time to do that, you wouldn't need the person you hired in order to do it.
Correct.
So,
correct.
And I think irregardless of whatever stats someone uses for their own purpose, establishing a routine and a baseline is the most important aspect of any measurement process. So you take the stats that are relevant in your particular context, and then over time, as you're measuring it, you go, oh, that went up. Okay, I think it's going to mean this. Maybe it does, or maybe it doesn't. But now, a year from now, or a quarter later, or 2 quarters later, or 3 quarters later, you're able to make better decisions because you're looking at the same data points, saying, here's how I think I should react to that, and here's what I'm going to do.
So
over time, I think it leads to better decision making.
Is every one of you listening, what are your leading indicators? Those of us in marketing, I think that's a little easier. But those of you in sales or in operations or at the leadership level, you need to know what your leading indicators are, what are the baselines, and then put that data in context and review it on a regular basis. And that is 100% a free throw that we should be nailing every time. I love that. No wonder we get along and work together, because that is exactly how I like to do marketing data. Yeah. That makes
absolutely.
A lot of
the numbers don't lie.
They really don't. I think, why do you think we don't review them more often, or do you think we're afraid of what they're going to say? Do you think we don't want to deal with the consequences? What is that about?
I honestly think too many people believe being busy is being productive, and they don't get the difference between engaging in the right activities and knowing their impact as compared to just, I've got a bunch of work to do, I'm busy. Well, there's no end to work in our industry. So at one point in time, you just have to stop and say, I need to create some goalposts, and I need to create the playing field.
Yeah.
And the more you're in control of that, you can be in control of the game. Otherwise, you're just really busy floating down that river. The current will take you.
It surely will. It will. And it's an excellent point. The busy and productive, or even let's take it a step further, effective, are not the same thing. Speaking of effective, as the owner and as the leader at a company, what are some of the things that you are most looking for when you're bringing on team members? I mean, our audience is more sales and marketing related, but it could really be any position. What's important to Milestone Builder Group in the people that you're hiring?
Well, the in-house team, the ones that we're going to work with, cultural fit is definitely near the top. We know that we're sort of a high pressure industry. People that, they're not buying a cookie. They are buying their dream, and they're asking us to make that a reality. And a lot of who people think they are or where they fit in society is based on sometimes, hey, I've got friends come over to my house, and it's your home, your neighborhood is everything. And so the level of intensity that someone that perceives that you've gone off on that dream is going to be intense. And so we know that even when you're doing things as good as we know how to do them today, there are going to be people that are going to be agitated, have a misperception, which is maybe an entirely different dialogue, but so you need to be able to have a team that can coalesce together around a common goal, what our vision is, and work well together. So I would say, in the past, I've often looked for, I don't want to give all the secret sauce out, but no.
Don't do it.
But
just in general.
But generally, I've always been favorable of someone on their resume, regardless of what I was looking at, be it sports or whatever, is someone that excelled exceptional at something. I don't want to hear I just did this, or I just accomplished that, or I did what everybody else did. I used to love hiring someone who knew what it meant to go through school and train 40 hours a week as a professional athlete.
Yes.
Because if that person was passionate about what I was wanting to do, I knew that I was going to get a team member that was going to fit in just fine. So I guess really it's you've heard the phrase hire for attitude and you can train for skill.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a close second to what we just mentioned.
Yeah, but you've articulated something that honestly I've always felt, but I'm not sure I really had pinpointed, which was that word intensity. We are operating in this industry at a very high level of intensity. And not every personality type or past level of experience thrives in that environment. And I think that's why you're saying, when somebody's been working as well as doing sports or whatever they've been doing, but they've been doing it exceptionally well, they operate at a high level of intensity.
Yep. And they've been able to operate. Yes. Yeah. And no one gets really far ahead in a sport or in an industry without facing headwinds, learning 100%. How to deal with it and, overcoming it.
Overcoming it 100%. And, that's where I found myself in this business disruption cycle. This was my third one. I came into the industry in 2001, right about when here in the States, 9/11 happened. And I was so new, I didn't really even know, red light, business disruption, right? But kind of weathered that one okay. But then 2006 came, 2007, 2008, with the Great Recession and the housing collapse here. And I don't feel I responded well. I didn't respond fast enough. I weathered it. I'm still here. We still have our business, but it wasn't pretty. And so when this third one came up this year, I said, we're going to lead our way through. It's not that I think I have the answers, but I'm going to step forward to try to find them and bring our industry together in the different town halls that I do and all the different doing this summit, because you learn when you make those mistakes, like I did in 2006 there, if you learn from them, you can apply them later, even when the circumstances are a little different.
Absolutely. And you touched on it, earlier by, sorry, what was it that you, oh my goodness. I forgot the quote you said there. And then
that's okay.
I just got tacked off it.
Just learning learning the lessons of past mistakes, failures, frankly. You just take those and you think, okay, I'm going to step up this time and keep going, go and be a little more aggressive and not sit back and hope it's all going to work out.
Well, absolutely. And not too long ago, I had gone into a sales meeting and I was, listening to the sales team talk, and, point I wanted to get across to our community managers was that they have to be very cognizant that right now, everybody doesn't know what this means in the context of COVID and the pandemic, and should they even be out in their show homes looking right now? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a bad time to buy? And my messaging to the sales team was, you really have to have it clear in your own mind why it's a good time for them to act right now, despite the uncertainty that's out there. Because if you're waiting, and so we were going through, if you're waiting for the general coffee shop knowledge, that the chit chat in a coffee shop, that's a good thing to do right now is be buying homes, then all you're doing is you're waiting for that river to take you. You need to be the person that actually, as they're having a conversation with you, all of a sudden they feel relaxed, they feel certain, they've got confidence that it is a good time to take advantage of the lower prices in our market, the low interest rates that are historically low, and to move ahead. They're going to get a good quality build, and they're going to get the best value that they would of any other time. So
it kind of comes back to your leading indicators there, because if you know those are strong, you really can have that confidence. You have quantifiable evidence that it is a good time, that it's okay. There are uncertain things out there, but the interest rates, the quality of our product, the low amount of inventory available, those are all reliable things that can give you confidence.
Absolutely. And they don't even have to be pointing always in call it the up direction as an owner. There's different reasons to move ahead, and there's different approaches that we would take in different markets that make sense. In some markets, we're helping people downsize so that they can delever and feel more comfortable within their means. In other markets, it's, hey, let's take this 1,800 square foot house and let's buy a 2,500 square foot house and enjoy. So different times, different indicators, but that helps us make an informed decision.
Yeah. As we start to wrap up, if you think about what our big kind of our challenges are right now, in the pre-interview, we were talking that you're selling well in your area. You've had several really great months. We have two here in the States. I don't think I saw it coming, but here it is. I'm thankful for it. So if we think about being busy, sales are good, what are some pitfalls or potential challenges we think that, if we mentally prepare for, hopefully never materialize, but we're ready no matter what?
Well, I think in our context, being here in Alberta, Canada, is, depending on where someone might be, but in Alberta, we're an oil economy. And that's been tough for the last several years. So if you went back over a decade, we experienced very little other than just price increasing, like from 04 to 14. We had this decade of just prices. It was just a given. You got in the housing game because it was your retirement fund. It was going to pay off. And then all of a sudden, since 2015, we've either had a price decrease, a margin erosion, or a volume decrease year over year, every year, because of our reliance on oil in our local economy.
Yeah.
And all of that happened before COVID hit. So,
yay you!
What's interesting is then the focus really came on survival tactics. Be here to see another day.
Yes.
And the biggest way that we've been able to focus on that, I mean, there's obviously the cliches, this too shall pass, but I've been a strong believer that the tactics that we're able to utilize to survive right now, and what's been the toughest period of time as an owner, probably as compared in the last quarter of a century, 25 years that I've been in housing. And right now, I'd say we're facing the strongest combined headwinds because we've got COVID coupled with an oil issue in Alberta, with hundreds of thousands of layoffs that we've never had before. And so, where we used to just rely on that rising tide to just raise all the boats, it's going in the other direction.
Yeah.
And so we've really been, and for a while, I mean, I'll admit that, you do what a lot of people do and you kind of just hope for things to get better, but hope is not a strategy. Hope isn't going to get us through. So, you really have to say, okay, that's why I wake up every day. That's my challenge. My challenge is to find a way to get that tactic, to get that small edge, maybe through a new communications firm that does great for us. And then those same ones that help us survive right now are going to be my thriving tactics as we more normalize. And so that's really what we've done is I've just made it a personal game Instead of being angry at the world that, oh my goodness, look at my market right now, I got these headwinds. Yeah. So we are getting our sales. They're not at a good margin as a builder, and they're virtually what I would have considered unsustainable a few years ago, but we found ways to do more with less.
That's right.
And as we continue to do that, I mean, this is obviously a big disrupting event. And as you pointed out, 9/11, that was a huge disruptor, and the world never really returned to pre 9/11 in many functions, in many aspects of travel.
No.
And I think the pandemic is going to do the same thing, where we are going to see that be certain items will stick, and they will be just the way we do items. So.
Yeah, I mean, hope is not a strategy, but I do believe in a certain element of faith. And I don't want to, offend anyone or go too far down that road for fear of that. But for, whatever you draw, and if you're listening, whatever you draw that faith from, that hope, that is an important element. Look, home building is risky. We, as a builder owner, you're investing millions, billions of dollars in dirt. It's a lot to take on. And it's something that I am consistently reminding our sales and marketing teams. They kind of can get, and we love you. We know you're listening. We love you. Don't take this the wrong way, but you can get a little tunnel vision on my community, my commission, what's happening to my buyer, when please step back and think about the bigger picture of what your company, whether it's a big public corporate builder or a private builder, what those owners have undertaken in terms of risk to run this business. It's tremendous. And so definitely there is a bit of element of faith and hope to it, but then you've got your leading indicators to ground you and give you that strategy moving forward. And then, you mentioned trying something new. You started working with us a few months ago, whatever that is, try new things to try to see where you can get yourself a bit of an edge, right? And then I'll tell you what I found coming out of our complete crash in 06, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I found was I was smarter. I was better. I was more humble. I was more diverse. I saved more money. I don't spend as much money. I do not buy as many shoes. It's hard to believe, but I don't.
Because that's a great leading indicator.
I don't want to be in that position, right? I don't want to put myself in that position. So you do come out better for it. And so, whatever market, if you're listening, whatever market you find yourself in, this is a growth opportunity. What works now will work later. So we just gotta kind of dive in with intensity and just, keep doing our best every day.
Absolutely. And just on your point, because I know you're ready to wrap up, but when I say hope's not a strategy, meaning faith is that you will continue and see another day. Hope is doing nothing and just waiting for things to change. I hope it gets better. And I can't tell you how many builders I talk to, and they're like, I hope it gets better. I'm like, I actually don't hope it gets better. It is what it is. I can't change it. I can't change what's going on in the world or the economy. I have to adapt.
Yes. And this is why you are a Triple Crown winner, my friend. Because that's a great, I hadn't really thought of the difference, but the difference in hope and faith, that is an awesome distinction with a difference. And I love that. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to invest in our industry to make our professionals of all of our different companies better. I think we are better together. When we're all better, the industry thrives as a whole. So I appreciate that very much. I thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. It's been great.
All right. Thank you.